The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage.
Yeah, the cost of living's got my eye looking all wonky. I promise you, it's not drugs, guys. It is definitely not drugs.
In terms of like top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car. And please don't hit me with the you can go buy a car for... Shut up. You can't. Shut up. Stop saying ridiculous things. An entry-level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5% into their 401k because shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement. Because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later.
Why does bro keep saying shut up? Like, he's obviously sick of the hustle culture folks, right? Guilty! But for real, like, is this guy's anger misguided? And who should he really be mad at, right? Should he be mad at, like, his fellow citizens? Yeah, that's my laundry here. Perfect timing, right? But who should he really be mad at? Should he be mad at his fellow citizens, or should he be mad at the government? Should he be mad at the corporations? Like, who do we blame for this mess that we find ourselves in? And with the way things are going right now, like, I think people should start investing in pitchfork stocks, right?
They took our job! Yeah!
Right? But then again, you're gonna need some disposable income to buy stocks, right? So either way is cooked, I tell you, cooked.
So after those two things come out of their paycheck and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a one-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an entry-level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy, that car payment's $579 a month. Car insurance, $240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies still want to screw you over. Food. You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only cook at home and you only eat decent quality food because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food. You pay $879 a month for that. You spend $250 a month in gas. You wear and tear on your car $100 a month. $80 for your phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity, $70 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make $75,000 a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually at a $75,000 wage? You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free, you don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your $800, you don't get to do it. You have $3,700 left over.
Oh shit, this guy is like the Grim Reaper. But yeah, over here in Canada, we're like, just go ahead and hold my beer, bro. I'm gonna have to run these numbers for us Quebecers, right? At 75K, you'll be taking home about 50K, right? Because everybody knows Quebec, we've got that large provincial tax, you know? So yeah, you're taking home about 50K, or roughly around $4,000 a month on a 75K a year salary. Now, if you throw in as a single person groceries at about $800 a month, that 4K now is left at $3,200. You throw in your car payments, $600. Now you're no longer at $3,200. You're now at $2,600. Insurance for that car, $200, $2,400. Now you're looking at like your bills, hydro, internet, easily another $400. Now you're at $2,000 left. You throw in your rent, assuming you want to live somewhere decent and you don't want to have roommates at about, it's cheaper in Quebec, right? So about $1,500. Now you're left with $500, literally. We've not even talked about gas in your car, right? So if you throw in gas as well, that's another $200 easily a month. Now you're left with $300 spending money. And you have not even contributed to your RRSPs, your TFSAs, or anything else, and you have $300 left, or $3,600 left at the end of the year. Now, God forbid you have an unexpected expense. Yeah, so it's no wonder people are on the edge, right? Because people are literally one paycheck away from financial ruin. And yet you hear people saying the solution is just get a second job, get a side hustle. I'm guilty of this, to be honest. right? Because what else are we supposed to do? People have got to survive somehow. And the government is not coming to save anybody. So what are we supposed to do?
Annually. That's like $320 a month. And there's going to be, well, that's 300. Shut up. Shut your stupid, contrarian, edgelord mouth.
I think you're mad at the wrong person,
That's
bro.
not a doctor bill, because God knows just because we have insurance doesn't mean that we don't still pay far out the ass when we go to the doctors. People like to be entertained. They want to date. They want to. There's
date?
those of you out there that will tell somebody
You wanna
living like
date?
this on
That's funny.
$75,000 a year before taxes that they are not doing what they're supposed to do. That they should get a second job. That they should get a side hustle. That they should get a better job. And the fact that you would look at somebody with no debt other than a car and say something like this to them means objectively you're a moron and you live in a fantasy world. This is unsustainable.
Yeah, I hear you, brother. I really hear you. But how else are people supposed to survive, right? Like the mathing, I agree with you. But people need to survive, right? So what solution are you offering to people? Because it's one thing to say how it should be, an adult should be able to do this, should be able to do that. But the reality is that they are not able to because the math ain't mathing. So what is your solution, right? We really can vote ourselves out of this, whether you vote for Trump, Biden, Harris, McCartney, Pierre Poilievre. Like, you can't vote yourself out of this. So I don't see any way out of this aside from getting a side hustle, getting a roommate, maybe get a partner, right? So you can share those bills, or potentially just never start a family. But even that, honestly, I don't know. I really don't know. It's really not looking that promising. I really do want to hear from y'all down in the comments below. How are you guys surviving? How are you making it in these treacherous times? Comment down below and let me know how you're doing. All right, fellas, until next time, peace.